Welcome back, everybody. We are having an exciting product review together with Snowflake. Please introduce yourself.
Thank you, Robert. So, welcome everyone. My name is Stellwall. I work for Snowflake. I work as what we call the Field CTO office, which is a customer advisory organization. And my focus is AI and ML. And today I'm going to talk a little bit about how Snowflake can help you in making the most of your AI and ML investment without having to make it too complex. So I'm going to talk about some of the features we have.
All right.
And then showing a couple of demonstrations of how these features can be done.
We love demos.
We love demos.
Let's see
Demos
it.
is great. So let's talk a little bit around what is the mission and what is Snowflake aiming at. So we've been around for a while now, and we are used to build a better data platform. So we talk about eliminating silos and deliver a single data platform. And we do believe that for AI and ML, this is very fundamental. Without data, you cannot do that much. Okay. So, and how do we see this? So one thing we talk about is there's no AI strategy without a data strategy. And what is that about? It's about simplifying your data foundation, making sure you have everything at hand, accelerate AI, so how can we deliver things faster? And then, of course, how can we use applications around this to make it available for others? Today, I'm going to focus a little bit around how we can use AI functions in a much simpler way. So just to give you a brief intro of the Snowflake Data Cloud. So as I said, our focus is to manage all types of data, no matter if it's structured, semi-structured, unstructured, in one governance place, to allow you to work with different types of workloads. So everything from building your applications, using AI, ML, and of course the traditional BI and analytical use cases that we have. And at the same time, having access to a marketplace where we can get more external data or other types of applications we can use. So let's dig in a little bit how we see generative AI or LLMs, because it's a big thing. It's the talk of everyone, and of course we have a view on this. One part of this is, of course, how can we keep data secured and governed, and also your models and the intellectual capital that you're building with this to make sure it's available in one single place and that you have control over it. The other part is how can we make this available for different types of usage? So everything from being able to build something in seconds without being the expert in how to use an LLM or how to train a forecast model. The other part is how can we start building applications rather quickly? And the third part is, of course, how can I bring my own? So if I train my own models or if I want to bring my own LLM and use it with the data in Snowflake. And we see that to be able to do that in one single environment for you. And of course, by that, then we can cover different types of users. So if we look at it from the Snowflake perspective, what we have. So we have a number of different types of functionality around this. Of course, we have in the bottom of everything, we work with the Snowflake data, but then you have something like the Snowpark container services that allows you to run, well, containers in Snowflake, meaning you can bring your own LLMs, you can fine-tune them, and so on and so forth. However, we also have, and this is where I'm going to focus today on, is what we call Snowflake Cortex. So Snowflake Cortex gives you serverless AI and ML functionality that you can use in various ways.
When did Snowflake's Cortex come out?
So we launched this publicly just a couple of months ago.
Okay, so it's nice and fresh.
It's nice and fresh, and basically, to be honest, the Cortex umbrella covers both ML-driven functionality, so forecasting, classification,
right.
anomaly detection, and LLM-based functionality.
So it's like a suite.
It's like a suite of functionality, and we like to give things a name. So
Yeah,
you might heard, the previous year we talked a lot about Snowpark. Still, it's functionality in the product, so it's not like you install something separate.
But Snowpark then is like a subset.
Snowpark is like a subset. Snowpark is the way to use multiple languages like Python, Java, and Scala with Snowflake.
Okay, cool.
And then with Cortex, we have the AI and ML-driven functionality. And on top of that, we have a number of functionality we have built in. So we have something called Document AI, which gives you the possibility to extract information from unstructured data by using natural language. So if you have contracts, so who is the signing party, when did we sign, and so on and so forth. So you can build data extraction pipelines much easier, and you can have the business driving those. Of course, we have a new search engine, which is more giving you the possibilities to find the data you have in Snowflake in a simpler way, but also figuring out if there's data in the Snowflake marketplace that can suit your questions.
I think the ability to extract structured data from unstructured data is an underappreciated feature of generative AI in general.
It is.
You have just text with random crap on it, and you can get a table out from that text in a fairly robust way. I think people sometimes don't even think that that's possible.
Yeah, and also I think one of the promises when we started with Hadoop and the data lake was, well, now we're going to use the unstructured data. However, it was very hard.
Yeah.
It was easy to collect it and put it somewhere, but extracting information from it is not that easy. So this is a very big part for us in that sense. And then, of course, we have the Copilot, which is going to give you a chat interface to Snowflake, so you can ask questions, it generates the SQL, you can execute it, which is more, well, around the productivity on all things. We also, of course, we support the usage of external APIs, so integration with Azure OpenAI or Amazon Bedrock to use it in combination. So we also see there's a need for an openness in everything, right? So we provide functionality, but as a customer, you might have other preferences. But we want to make it as seamless as easy to use it with the data you have in Snowflake. So let's dive into the part of the Cortex. So the Cortex functionality consists of two types of functions when it comes to LLM. We have what we call the specialized LLM functions, so purpose-trained models for specific functionality. So we have translate, summarize, sentiment detect. Very easy to use. You don't need to do any prompting. It covers everything for you. And I'm going to show you in a bit how that works.
And is this something that you consume query-wise, or do you sort of manage an instance of something, or how does that work?
You serve it query-wise, and in 2 minutes, I will show you exactly how you can use it. So bear with me, and you will see it. And the other part of this is be able to use foundational models. So we call it a complete function, but it gives you access to a number of models that we host and run for you.
Right.
So a number of Mistral models. We have Llama 2. We are adding models from Rika currently, and so on.
Oh, wow. Mistral Large.
Yes. So giving you the possibility to start building your ML-driven applications, but without the need of hosting this yourself, putting it up the infrastructure.
Is this hosted in Snowflake?
Yes. So
you have some kind of partnership with
We have partnership with Mistral. So
that's awesome.
So let me get to the other part of this. So let me get into Snowflake and let us show how we can use this. So one way to use this is through SQL. So you have, like, if I want to do translate, I have the Snowflake translate function. I put in my text. I say, what is the input language? What is the output language? And I can start using this. Of course, me entering the text might not be the best usage of this, but a lot of customers, get data in different format or in different languages that they want to translate to one language to use further down the road. So the benefit of this is, of course, we can run this as a pipeline where I apply these functions on top of the data I have in a table and then produce a result that I can then further use down the road.
Nice.
So I don't need to do my prompting. I don't need to say, well, translate this to this. And we can actually have it to identify the language that is coming in that sense. And the same thing with the sentiment analysis. So maybe I translate my text into English, and then I want to look what is the overall sentiment of these texts. I can do that rather easily and quickly. Of course, the summarize functions give me the possibility to summarize my text without having to instruct it. So I can do all these type of things, and it gives me the possibility to build this as an easy pipeline if I want to productionize this and use that as a part of my data ingestion. But of course, then we have the complete function, and the complete function gives me access to the models, and I can then actually start prompting things. So in this case, maybe I don't want to use the summarize functions because I also want the output at the JSON format. So the way to do that then is, of course, to create a simple prompt to say, well, summarize this transcript, put the product name, defect, and summary in the JSON format, and then I can run that on top of my data, and I can then choose which foundation model I want to use for this. And of course, as we said, we have a number of others I can use for this. But it makes it very easy for me to build pipelines using this functionality, and of course to build functionality applications on top of that.
Let's dig into the weeds for some of the tech-savvy people in the audience. I know you all are super sharp, and you're thinking about the things I'm thinking about here. Did you have to instantiate? Because this is a pretty big model.
Yes.
And you don't have to. Okay. And do you have some kind of sort of rate guarantees? You know, where if I want to hit it this many times per second, I can.
Currently, we have some boundaries on the rate, so the number of calls you can do per second and the number of rows you can throw at it.
Right.
This is something we are working on expanding, and it's all about accessibility and the infrastructure behind.
Right.
But the nice thing is it's available for you in your Snowflake account. You don't need to initiate anything.
Yeah.
It is there. We are managing it. We're running it for you.
Okay.
So this is the basis. So let me just get back to my presentation. And
would you say that this is something that could, you start a project, you have 5 people testing your little LLM app, and then all of a sudden the whole company says, we want to use it. It's 500 people.
Yeah.
Is that something that will
handle
sort of scale to that? Don't
Absolutely.
have to do anything extra?
Absolutely. So this is making it simple for people to use, simple to get started, and a lot of customers sees this as, we just want to test and see if there's anything value behind this. Can we actually use this model for something valuable? And instead of setting up yourself or getting an agreement, you can just get started.
Right.
But of course, what I showed you was the very simple things, and I mean, a big thing when we talk about LLM is the whole RAG part.
Right.
So how can we also infuse this with additional data to use as context? So we are also adding functionality around this. So how can we build RAG applications with Snowflake built-in functionality without having to go out to that? So Snowflake has some vector functions. We are adding an embedding text function that allows you to create your embeddings. We are adding distance functions, so cosine distance, vector L2 distance functions, so we can start building simple RAG applications. And that gives us the possibility to do more. So let me jump again and show you another part of this. So Snowflake has something called Streamlit, and Streamlit is, as many might know, if you do Python, it's an open source framework for building applications very easily. So we host Streamlit within Snowflake, gives you the possibility to build Streamlit-based applications very easily, distributed to your users, and use it. So I can then start combining all this functionality that I have with the foundation models, the vector data type, the embedding functionality, and having my distance functions that gives me the possibility to very quickly build chat assistants. So in this case, what I have done behind the scenes is I've inserted a number of documents. We have extracted the text from it. We have chunked it. We have used the functions to create embeddings. And based on that, I'm using the Streamlit built-in functionality for building a chatbot. So we have components to that, so I can start asking questions about my documents. And of course, this is very simple thing. So what is the name of the ski boots? So, but I don't need to do a lot of things in order to do this. I don't need to run a big project. I don't need to set a lot of components. I can just write very easily the code. So I think this is a really nice thing that gives the customers of Snowflake an easy way to start trying to innovate a little bit, trying to figure out how this works without having to be investing in a lot of technology, trying to figure out what type of infrastructure we're going to have, where are we going to run this, and so on and so forth. So,
being able to run Streamlit apps straight in Snowflake is pretty cool, I think.
I think it's a really nice feature we added to this, and of course, Streamlit is also a part of how we can package this as an application and also distribute that through Snowflake, what we call the marketplace, that gives us the possibilities to, well, monetize on it if we want to. And the nice thing with this is, if I look at it, what I have to do behind the scenes is, well, now there's a lot of code, but it's not that much code, to be honest. It has some steps where I need to keep track of things, but in the end, what I'm doing is I'm just calling these SQL functions that we have and provide them with information. So it makes it very quick for me to build something that I can start using.
Yep.
So what we have on top of this is I'm starting to wrap up what we're doing. So this is what we have now. So what do we have on the roadmap? What are we trying to do more? So as we have the collaboration with Rika.
Let's see if I can get
that. Gives us the possibility to also use multimodal models. So that is one thing we are adding to this. We also see the need for, even if the distance functions is pretty nice, they are suitable for doing more smaller scale type of RAG application. So if you have millions of documents you want to search, vector search is a more optimized way of doing that. So what we're adding now is what we call the Cortex Search API. It's a REST API where we can basically create vector indexes on your data and search for it.
Data Cloud Summit 24.
24, which is in June.
All this stuff is coming in.
All this stuff is coming. And also, of course, the next step is, okay, we provide you with foundation models, but what if I want to fine-tune them with my own data? So that is the next thing we are adding now to this. And then I didn't speak so much about the Copilot, but the Copilot, we're also adding an API to say, well, I don't want to use your graphical interface. I want to build my own application, but I want to ask questions about my data in Snowflake. So we're adding an API for that. So
this seems quite promising.
It is. I think it's a year of a lot. We call it the year of GA, so we will see. So general availability is the theme of our year today.
Yeah.
And of course, so if I'm going to summarize what I'm talking on is, of course, is that we give you the possibility to build these type of applications very quickly. You can start with simple things using the serverless functions that is purpose-trained for summarizing, translating. We can move further down and say, well, let's use the whole foundation model because we want to customize it. And of course, what I didn't go to that much is we can also utilize the Snowflake marketplace and the Snowpark container services to run our own containers. So one thing that is going to happen is, once we get there, is that vendors of LLMs will be able to offer them through our marketplace. So you as a customer can go and request access to those models.
Is that similar to the Mistral?
Yeah,
setup?
similar to the Mistral. But having the possibility for yourself to add whatever you want. So, so in that sense. And of course, if I want to do some commercial, and as I said, yes, the Data Cloud Summit in 2024 in San Francisco, there's going to be a lot of this for you to see and so on. So
awesome. All right.
Yeah.
Super thanks for this demo. I learned a lot. I hope the audience learned a lot as well. And thanks for being with us.
It's always a pleasure. And you can find us in the booth next to here if you want to talk more.
Perfect. See you guys around.
Thank you.